Welcome to today's Explainer. We're taking a little bit of a tough love approach today to what is probably the most disrespected exercise in all of fitness. So, are you doing push-ups wrong? The harsh reality? Yeah, a resounding yes. See, most people treat the push-up like it's just a simple warm-up, right? Or maybe a punishment, or just something you eventually outgrow. But look at elite athletes, gymnasts, fighters, special forces operators, people whose actual lives depend on real upper body strength. They never stop doing push-ups. The issue is you probably learned your technique from a middle school PE teacher when you were, 12? And you've just been practicing that exact same wrong movement ever since, treating it like a chore instead of the high-level skill it actually is. Yes, and here's exactly why. Okay, let's really dive into this. Repeating that same bad form for thousands of reps, year after year, it means you're totally exposed. You're putting in the effort, you're absolutely doing the work, but because your mechanics are fundamentally flawed, you're only getting a fraction of the actual results. Your chest just isn't growing, and honestly, worse than that, your shoulders are slowly getting wrecked in the process. Look at this staggering number right here, 95%. 95% of people do push-ups the exact same broken way. To put that into perspective, it means that every single rep you're doing right now is probably only about 30% as effective as it should be. You're literally doing 100% of the labor for a third of the payoff, all while risking some pretty serious joint injury. But hey, the good news? There are really only 5 errors, just 5 things nobody ever bothered to correct for you. So let's fix them right now. All right, error 1, the T-shaped trap. Let's move right into this first major mechanical flaw. This is the mistake that's quietly shredding your rotator cuff with every single rep you bang out. Think about looking at most people doing a push-up from above. Their body makes this really dangerous T shape, right? With their arms completely straight out to the sides. And look, I get it. It feels natural. It even feels powerful. But at that angle, your upper arm bone is jamming directly into the front of your shoulder socket. You know that grinding sensation you sometimes feel? Yeah, that's your tendons literally getting pinched between bones. Over time, that completely destroys the joint. The fix here is surprisingly simple. Just tuck your elbows to a 45-degree angle. From above, your body should look like an arrow, not a T. In this arrow position, that shoulder pain totally disappears, you get way more chest activation, and you're just structurally much stronger. It's a real game changer. Moving on to error 2, frozen shoulder blades. This is a very visible error, and it's exactly why your chest just refuses to grow no matter how many standard reps you pump out on a daily basis. Seriously, just watch anyone do a push-up. Their body goes up and down, sure, but their shoulder blades? They're completely frozen. They don't move at all. Now, here's the crucial point. Your chest muscle literally needs your shoulder blades to slide forward to fully contract. If they don't move, your chest never fully squeezes. You are effectively doing push-ups with the parking brake pulled all the way up. So the fix? At the very top of the rep, don't just lock your elbows. Push further. Spread your shoulder blades apart and push the floor away from you until your upper back rounds slightly. That right there is the absolutely crucial 2 inches of the movement, and chances are you've been skipping it your whole life. Okay, next up is error 3, the core energy leak. Now this is a massive, invisible problem that steals your power on every single set. And the crazy part is, it doesn't even look like a form issue to the untrained eye. Just think about the typical soft, sagging position you see at the gym. Lower back dipping, core just hanging there like a hammock. When your core is loose like that, the pressing force you're generating, it just leaks right through your midsection instead of driving into the floor. It's basically like trying to push against a wet noodle. Compare that to a steel beam. Before you even go down for the rep, you need to squeeze your glutes hard and brace your core, like you're about to take a punch to the stomach. Your body needs to feel like a stiff plank about to break a board, not a plank taking a nap. Remember, the push-up is a full-body exercise where your arms just happen to be moving. You've got to lock the body to unlock the results. And that brings us to error 4, the time under tension trap. This one requires checking your ego right at the door and dropping that dangerous mindset of pumping out 50 fast, bouncy reps just to hit some arbitrary number. Let's take a second to define what actually builds muscle: time under tension. Look, being able to do 50 push-ups in 25 seconds means absolutely nothing if you're just dropping with gravity, bouncing right off your ribcage, and letting momentum do all the heavy lifting. That isn't training, guys. That's just falling and catching yourself 50 times. It's exactly why you see people boasting about huge numbers, but they still have 0 chest development. Why? Because their muscles were never under real tension. So, here's how a real rep should actually be timed. You start the rep, and you take 2 to 3 full seconds to lower yourself down slowly. Then, and this is critical, do not skip this, you hold a 1-second pause right at the bottom. Your chest should be hovering over the floor, not resting on it. Then, take 1 to 2 seconds to push back up. Every single rep should take somewhere between 4 to 6 seconds total. I promise you, 10 slow, perfectly controlled reps following this exact timeline will build significantly more muscle than 50 fast, sloppy ones. Your ego desperately wants that big number, but your chest, it desperately needs that tension.
Finally, we arrive at error 5, the silent killer. Now, what's really interesting about this next point is how it reveals a hidden danger. It quietly grinds your shoulder joint into dust without you even realizing it's happening until it's far too late.
So what is this collapsing? At the very bottom of most people's push-ups, their shoulders just dump forward. The front of the shoulder completely collapses past the wrist line, the shoulder blades wing off the back, and suddenly your rotator cuff, which remember are your shoulder stabilizing muscles, is holding all your body weight, and is holding it in a highly vulnerable position it was never ever built for. There's no sharp warning pain usually, it's just a slow, invisible grind. Rep after rep, week after week, until one day you find yourself sitting in a physical therapist's office.
Okay, let's fix this silent killer mechanically. Step 1. When you reach the bottom of the rep, you absolutely must pull your shoulder blades together and down. Imagine you're trying to literally tuck your shoulder blades into your back pockets. Step 2. Keep your chest wide open. And step 3, which is absolutely crucial, keep your shoulders physically behind your hands. Do not let them dump in front. When you do this, 2 incredible things happen right away. First, your shoulder joint stays perfectly centered and protected. Second, your chest muscle fires significantly harder because it's starting from a longer, pre-stretched position.
We've covered the 5 fatal flaws. Now it's time for the masterclass, the perfect rep. This is where we synthesize all 5 of these individual fixes into one perfectly executed, biomechanically sound movement.
All right, this right here is your ultimate checklist. Let's build the perfect rep together. Hands just outside your shoulders, fingers spread wide. Form that arrow position from above, elbows tucked at a nice 45 degrees. Now squeeze those glutes and brace your core. Become that steel beam we talked about. Lower your body down slowly over 2 to 3 seconds, keeping those shoulder blades pulled right into your back pockets. Pause. Hold that tension just 1 single inch from the floor. Now push back up, and at the very top, push the floor away and spread your upper back to fully, totally activate the chest. Bam! That is one flawless rep.
Listen, if you take nothing else away from this explainer today, I want you to remember this core ethos. Muscles don't count reps, they count time under tension. True strength, it comes from immaculate technique, not from your ego. Honestly, if you can only do 5 reps using these new mechanics, then congratulations. You just did 5 real push-ups that absolutely beat the pants off 30 fake ones. And once those 5 become easy, you don't just speed up or add junk volume. No, you make it harder. Grab a weighted vest or elevate your feet. So, I'm going to leave you with this final challenge today. Can you do just 1 real push-up? Right now, as this explainer ends, I want you to drop down to the floor, completely forget your old routine, apply every single fix we just talked about, the arrow shape, the locked core, the slow tempo, that brutal bottom pause, and the full shoulder blade spread at the very top. Go ahead and execute just 1 perfect rep. You are going to feel the difference in your chest, your shoulders, and your core immediately. The push-up is a high-level skill, my friends, and starting today, you finally know exactly how to master it.